This is Mike Money for the Money Pit with Jacob Carver from
Butcher Shop.
We're going to talk about some local independent horror movies that you may not have seen that are really pretty good. We'll start with Vampire Sisters. In 2003, down in Hunt Valley, Maryland at Horrifying 3, we actually saw this world premiere with some of the stars, which I'll get to in a minute. But basically it's about three sexy sisters who give a whole new meaning to ladies of the night. They lure victim after victim to their website and eventually to their lair. Starring Darla Abernoz, Sim DeVille, and Liana Chamish. Joe Ripple directed and Don Doller produced. This was Time Warp Films, who also did Harvesters, Stakes, and Dead Hunt. I'm pretty sure when we watched this movie, Joe Ripple, Don Doller, Liana Chamish, Sim DeVille, I think most of the people there watching it with us. Do you have any recollection of that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the whole cast and crew was there at the time when we were watching it.
Because I had to buy it the next year because it wasn't released at the time.
But as in Horrifying, Joe Ripple was a big part of that show. And
Yeah, he was the...
Time Warp Films debuted a lot of their stuff there. And
Yeah,
Vampire
Joe-
Sisters was one of them.
Joe Ripple was security?
Security.
Okay. Well then, in 2004, we went to Cinema Wasteland in Ohio. And the first one we saw, the premiere, was Chainsaw Sally. Okay, what do we have here? At 10 years old, Sally witnessed the brutal murder of her parents. It had quite an effect on her, starring April Monique Burrell, Mark Redfield, Gunnar Hansen, and Herschel Gordon Lewis. This was written and directed by Jimmy O. Burrell, which obviously is the husband. One thing I remember, we saw it, they sort of had like notes they asked us, what did you think of the movie?
Well, this was like this, when we watched it, it wasn't like the complete film, it was like
Right.
the screen
An early
copy.
screening, right.
And
But they asked our opinion, and his brother goes, you should have had more tits. When we bought the movie, it had more tits. What do you think? The consumers finally said something. Now, didn't you say you had a story about him? Go for it.
yeah, a friend of mine used to own a tattoo parlor, and he was somehow friends with April O'Burrow, and he was also a fellow horror fan, and he invited April O'Burrow and Jimmy O'Burrow to his tattoo shop for a signing of Chainsaw Sally and stuff. So we got to hang out for the night with Jimmy O'Burrow and April O'Burrow and knock down some beers and have a good time and talk about horror movies and shit, and it was a fun time.
Cool. Okay, also in Ohio, we saw the premiere of The Stink of Flesh. This is probably one of my favorite independents. It's basically in a zombie wasteland, Matul, who's the star, must survive by his wits until he's kidnapped by a mysterious couple. I could say so much, but I don't want to ruin it. But this was like horror, comedy. It just had so much. There was an homage to Basket Case. So much stuff in there. Any remembrance besides being drunk?
So it was sort of kind of like horror comedy, like Shaun of the Dead. And stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely
So
similar to
if you
Shaun
like
of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead and those kind of movies, you'll fucking probably love Stink of Flesh.
Oh, yeah.
If you can still find it, it might be a hard one to find on.
I got it on Amazon, but it's been a few years now, so.
But yeah, I remember me and Mike Money in a screening of Stink of Flesh, and after I walked out of, I didn't have high expectations for the movie, but when I walked out, even though I was probably a little inebriated, I enjoyed what I saw, and I thought for an independent film, it was pretty fucking solid.
And all three of these movies we talked about, we saw at a Horrifying or a horror convention as a world premiere, and they were worthy to go buy afterwards.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's the difference now, I'll say this real quick before we wrap it up, of Horrifying doesn't exist anymore. You have
Monster Mania.
Monster Mania, and when they have movie screenings, it's of things that have been around for 30,000 years. It's not, you go to a theater and you watch The Evil Dead, you watch Nightmare on Elm Street. That's fine and dandy, but I'd rather see something new coming out, and then you can form your opinion, and I don't think they've done that in years, but it's a shame, because to me that's what was cool about it.
Yeah, that was definitely awesome.
And you used to get free swag too, by the way.
Yeah, lots of free swag.
Lots of free swag. Now you got to pay for everything. You're lucky to get a booklet if you beg somebody for it, which is crazy. But anyway, this is Jacob Carver, Mike Money, saying check out all three of these movies if you can. because I think you'll enjoy them. If not, you know where you can go. Down where?
Fuck off.
Down there.